Hello everybody, happy holidays and welcome to today's top 5 board gaming video about gifted games. Before I get started, if you haven't done so already, please take a look at all my various social media pages as well as my Patreon page. On all of those, you'll be able to interact with myself and my channel in a whole bunch of really cool ways. Now to get started, what do I mean by gifted games? Well, it's the holiday season and I wanted to wrap up this sort of mini-series I've done of list videos with one that talks about games that I have actually been given. So these are games I have been gifted from friends, family members, what have you, and they essentially mean something really special to me. They may not necessarily be games that hit the table a whole lot or ones that I particularly enjoy playing, but at the same time I really know that the sentiment behind them is what really matters to me personally. And so they have a much deeper meaning to me than just the surface of having a game. And this is one of those things where I'm never going to get rid of any of these games simply because of the sentimental attachment. So there's a lot of different aspects to this little video and the games themselves. So I think you might be surprised by some of the things that I've got here. But with that, you guys know I love hearing what you have to say. So what are your favorite games that you've been gifted by friends, family members, whatever it happens to be, and why? Is it because they're your favorite games or because they're your favorite people, or let me know in the comments below. You guys know I love hearing anything and everything from you. But with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with my number 5. At number 5, I've got Star Wars Imperial Assault. I received this as a gift last year from my sister's fiance, and essentially he worked at a game store and he was able to give me some good pricing as well as actually give me his copy of Imperial Assault, where essentially where he lives, there's other people who have it, and on top of that, he doesn't particularly like it, but he knew I really, really wanted it. And so the reason that I have this game on the list is because it's a tremendously expensive game. It's not something that's easy to go away, and in this case, I've got several expansions for this as well. And so it's just really great. And the fact is I'm not that close with him, but at the same time it's really nice to know that he and I have something to talk about in the form of gaming. So with that, Star Wars Imperial Assault, my number 5. At number 4, I've got Heidelberg Monopoly. This is a game that I received what feels like ages ago when I was still in undergrad. My parents actually sent this to me just after I started collecting board games, and I really appreciated the sentiment that they sent with it, because it's just like, they don't know anything about board gaming, and that's fine. But the fact is that I told them I love board games. I want to have board games. Just after I started collecting, I really didn't know which ones I wanted exactly. So they picked one that was actually very unique. This one is actually in German, so I made a joke a long time ago that it can feel like a Euro game because it's in German. And it's just a fun thing that I still have on my shelf. I really haven't played it much at all, but it's just a great sentimental piece that I love to have. So Heidelberg Monopoly, my number 4. At number 3, I've got Cosmic Encounter. That's right, not only was this a gift, but it's only my number 3 gift. This is another one that I got as a holiday gift from my parents, and this was when I first started collecting games. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that Cosmic Encounter, and particularly the Fantasy Flight version, is actually my favorite game of all time. So I was tremendously happy to have received this as a gift, because at the time, again, I was an undergrad, I really didn't have a lot of money to spend on board games, so I was really happy to get a copy of what was at the time, and still is, my favorite game ever. You can see the box is well loved, very, very worn. Well, I mean, the corners are decent at least, but it has definitely seen a lot of time at the table. I still love this game. I really appreciate the fact that it was given to me, and even though it was just bought off of a list, I really don't care. I'm so glad that I got it. And Cosmic Encounter, my number 3. At number 2, I have Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. This actually has a very, very special story behind it. Not only is the game itself very good and a really fun deductive reasoning game, which I absolutely adore, but this is the first game that I ever played with my current girlfriend. And essentially, after just over a year of dating, she bought me this as a random gift because, again, it's a sentimental thing for both of us. We met at an FLGS at just a random game night, and she got me this sort of as a memento of when we played. Now, at the same time, I'm not like keeping this in a shrine or anything like that. We take it, we bring it out, we put it on the table and we play it, but it's still a very meaningful thing because it's something about when we first met, why we met, how we met, and the fact that we are both giant nerds, and I absolutely love it. Deception, my number 2. At At number 1, I have The Game of Life, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. The reason that this is on the list, not to mention so high, is because when I started collecting board games, this was actually the very, very first one that I ever got. It was actually a very random gift. It was a white elephant gift at a Christmas party when I was in undergrad. But at the same time, it really started my collection, and I received it from one of the people who hosted our game nights, and it was before I started collecting my own hobby games. And it just so happened that they put in this game, and I was like, oh cool, now I have a board game collection. So this is the one that started it all. Now, it might not be a very good game mechanically or strategically because it's still the game of life, but at the same time, it really started everything for me, and it has been on my shelf ever since I began collecting hobby games over 10 years ago, almost 15 years ago at this point. But with that, The Game of Life, Pirates of the Caribbean edition is my number 1. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video on my 5 favorite board games that I have received as gifts over the years that I have been collecting. Now, again, I wanted to share with you guys some of the stories behind them because it's always fun to share that kind of thing with anybody, really, and I love sharing it with you all in particular, not to mention around the holiday season. But as always, you guys know I love to hear from you, and I love to hear your own personal stories. So what are the games that you received that you really appreciated, and why? Were they games that started your collection, built your collection, favorite game, favorite person, whatever it happens to be? Please let me know anything and everything in the comments below. But with that, thank you very, very much for watching this. I hope that you have a wonderful, happy, and safe holiday season, and I will see you next time.